Having enough energy to be able to do things like exercise, get your work done is so vitally important. And I think most people could always use more energy. So the question is, why would someone be tired in the first place? Okay. And the key with this reestablishing your energy is to really address the real cause. Now, this video is about nutrient deficiencies, but there are many other causes of fatigue. One being a lack of sleep. If you're not sleeping, I don't care how many vitamins you take or what you eat, you're still going to be tired. And the other core reason why people are tired is they're consuming the wrong fuel. They're consuming too much glucose and not running off their stored fat. Burning fat is the most efficient source of your energy. You have way more sustained fuel burning fat than you do sugar. Running your body off sugar, glucose, is going to be a roller coaster. Up and down, up and down. You're not going to have that sustained energy. And then, of course, the majority of people need stimulants to keep them energetic, like caffeine, coffee. And when a lot of people are tired, what do they turn to? They eat food for energy. Of course, the food that they're eating makes them tired. So let's dive into the nutrient deficiencies, the primary ones that can make you tired. Now, the first three nutrients relate to the formation and the production of red blood cells. Now, without enough of the red blood cells or the quality of red blood cells, you can't carry oxygen. And oxygen is needed to help you burn fuel, much like a car needs oxygen mixed with gasoline, right? So you have a spark plug and a carburetor, you mix a certain amount of oxygen and it ignites and gives you energy. Same thing in your body. You need oxygen to oxidize the fuel. So the first one is B12. Now, the trace mineral that's involved with B12 is cobalt. Okay, so cobalt is a necessary trace mineral. So if the food that you're eating doesn't have cobalt, it's going to be very low in B12. The best source of B12 is animal products. Okay, so this is a clue that your body is telling you of what type of diet is best for you. So if there's a classification of foods that are missing a certain nutrient, maybe our bodies weren't designed to live off that specific food. Now, they might have other nutrients, but B12 is mostly in animal products. However, certain microbes can make B12, so that's an exception. So if someone's deficient in B12, they're going to be tired. They're going to have a lot of other problems with their nervous system, and there's a whole list of things, but they will become anemic. So what foods are high in B12? Meats, fish, eggs, things like that. One of the reasons why someone might be deficient in B12 is that they're not consuming animal products, or maybe they have an autoimmune problem in their stomach. There's a certain factor, it's called an intrinsic factor, that helps you absorb B12. And if that's not working, you're going to become anemic. All right, the second nutrient that has a lot to do with the creation of a red blood cell is folate. Okay, folate is vitamin B9. And you need folate for a lot of different things, including protection of your DNA, but you also need it to make the red blood cell. So if you're deficient in folate, you will be tired. There's some interesting reasons why people are deficient in folate. One is the tanning booth. If you're getting too much artificial tanning and there's too much UV, that can create a deficiency of folate. Now, folate is in a lot of foods, but it's especially in the dark leafy greens. Even the derivation of folate comes from the word which means leaf, okay, as in dark leafy green vegetables. So if you're deficient in folate, you're going to have fatigue, lethargy, and you're going to be weak. And there's certain types of anemia that involve a folate deficiency. Okay, the red blood cells need B12, they need folate, and they need, you guessed it, iron, okay? Now, the best source of iron is not from leafy greens. It's not from spinach, despite what Popeye told you. The best bioavailable source of iron is in red meat. Iron is at the core of something called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the thing that carries oxygen in the red blood cell. Okay, it's like the protein part. And it not only carries oxygen, it helps you eliminate carbon dioxide. So those two have to be in a perfect ratio. So if someone is a vegan, they might have a lot of folate, but they might not have B12 and a good source of iron. All right, number 4, thiamine or B1. Now, I've done some really extensive videos on B1 and its importance for your brain, importance in your mood. It gets rid of anxiety and that nervous tension, and also anything that has to do with nerve inflammation, neuritis. It seems to handle that very well, especially if you have peripheral neuropathy, which is this neurological problem at the bottom of your feet, usually which occurs because your blood sugars are not correct. But you can think about B1 as like a spark plug for your energy. Without B1, you can't ignite this fuel. So B1 is very, very vital in the creation of energy in your body. And if someone does a high carb diet, especially a high sugar or refined carbohydrate diet, the need for B1 goes way, way, way up, and they're usually deficient. And so they're usually tired because they cannot burn that fuel. So that fuel just gets converted to fat and cholesterol and triglycerides. B1 is in a lot of different foods. It's in animal products. It's in plant products. It's in seeds. It's in nuts. It's in sunflower seeds. It's made by microbes, as in nutritional yeast. But the reason why most people are deficient in B1 is that they're consuming a lot of refined carbohydrates and sugars. And so it's not necessarily a lack of getting B1 from the diet. It's eating things that are creating the deficiency, okay? So we have B12, folate, iron, B1, and number 5, magnesium. Okay, magnesium is crucial. It's vital to generating energy because you need magnesium to make ATP, which is the energy currency of your body. And without magnesium, you can't make ATP. And by the way, the majority of the population is deficient in magnesium. Well, where do you get magnesium? Well, magnesium is at the heart of chlorophyll, which is in the leafy greens. It's in the vegetable family. So, but you can also get magnesium in a lot of other foods. You have animal products and plant-based products is good without the refined foods, and those foods that turn into the wrong type of fuel very fast, as in grains. So even though grains might have a lot of B1 and magnesium and other minerals like iron, it's locked up with phytic acid, okay? But when they refine the grain, all the nutrition is lost. And so now you're eating this empty carbohydrate, which then creates a deficiency of these nutrients. And this is why people get tired. And number 6, potassium. Potassium is needed in large quantities in our body for a reason, because in all of our cells, we have this little pump. It's called a sodium potassium pump that helps you generate energy within your muscles and your nervous system. So if you're deficient in potassium, you are going to be tired. You're going to be dragging. You're not going to have the muscle energy. You're going to try to work out and you just don't have the endurance. Not to mention the nervous system. I mean, I'm also talking about your brain and nervous system too. So if you do a lot of mental work through the day, you lose your mental and your cognitive power. So where do we get potassium? Leafy greens, but it's also in a lot of other foods as well. So as you can see, we need a combination of foods to eat to generate energy. And then we want to avoid certain foods that make us tired. And we want to make sure we get enough sleep. Now, if you haven't been sleeping that well, that could be fatigue. So I put that video up right here. Check it out.